Okay, so I'm just going to start up from there. I'm going to start up from there. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Let me use Adidas data. Okay, so welcome to today's class. So I'm just going to go over the pivot table again because I'm not sure if I missed certain things on that particular day. I was not really feeling too well that day, and I just had to like quickly close up the class that particular day. So yeah, so for pivot table, when you have it, when you have your data like this, your data sheets like this, the first thing that it's probably advisable to do when you have your data like this is to turn this data into a table. And to turn your data into a table, what you just need to do, the reason for turning your data into a table is such that it will be easier to capture whatever information you have on your data sheet. So to turn it to a table, you just need to select one of the data here and then select format as a table. And this is just to select the type, like the design type of your table formats. You can decide to select any of these. So by this, it is automatically going to recognize my table. So I want to confirm if this is the actual length and breadth of my table. That is the whole array of my table. And then my table has header. With this, my table has header. It is able to recognize the header of my table, which is all of this as the header of my table. So the moment I press OK, this is this has converted this into a table, and you can see the table name right here. So the table name, I can change whatever my table name is. Maybe this is an Adidas data. So Adidas, you can just change it to probably Adidas. And then with this, you can easily see that you can remove duplicates. That is, it's going to check across all the table to see if there's any information that has been entered as a duplicate. So there are no duplicates here. So you can easily be able to see duplicate data, like if there is any duplicated data in this particular table. So the next thing you want to do after you've converted to a table is now you can now go to your pivot table. And then it is always advisable to allow your pivot table to be in a new worksheet. So now that we have it in a new worksheet, it is now very easy for us to easily do certain summary of our data. For example, so we have filter, column, row, and value. For example, maybe we want to check the sales per the region now. So we have all of this region, Midwest, Northeast, South, Southeast, and West. And then we want to see the total sales. So you can easily move it here. And this is the record of the total sales per each region. This is the summary of the total sales per each region. Yep. So we can easily see it like the total summary. So instead of the summaries we've been doing, this helps us to easily get whatever the summary of our answer is. Let's say I want to see for each product in this same region. So I can move my product, I can move it to columns. This is automatically going to create a unique column for each of the products that are available and then sequence it based on the rule. So with this, I can see that, okay, I can easily see that in Midwest, this is the total sales for men apparel in Midwest. Sorry. Yeah, I can easily see that. Hope my screen is still visible. Am I still visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
please.
Okay. So with this, you can easily see that, okay, in South, this is for men's apparel, this is for men's street footwear, and this is the grand total. All of men's apparel, this is the grand total for it. And in this side, this is the grand total for everything in Midwest. This is the grand total. Everything in Northeast, this is the grand total. So this makes it easier for us to be able to have a quick summary of every of our data. You can decide to probably pull maybe each state. Maybe you want to know for each state in each region. With this, it's going to automatically grade every of the states into, now we have a much more larger data set. And this is for Midwest. For each state in Midwest, this is their records for each state. For each state in Northeast, so we can see that with this, it has made our work much more easier and faster. So um, you can decide to, another thing you can also do is probably to add, maybe you want to add a filter, maybe you want to see for, based on a particular sales method, maybe the ones you want to see is for online sales. Maybe the record you want to see is only for online sales. So you press OK. Coming on. Yeah, so you press online sales, and then this is going to generate all the records of everything. All the records we have here is only for online sales. You can easily close up these guys back. Let's say you don't want to see for the states, you just want to see for the region. You can easily see all of this for online sales. If it's for outlets, so you can easily add a filter. So this is for filter, this is for column, this is for row, and this is for value. And I'm not sure if I explained that it's not only the sum you can see, you can also see the average, you can see the count. Let's say it's count we want to see now. This is the count. It's because I formatted this as dollar. This is the count for, this is the counts in each of these places where there is a record. If what you want to see is probably the marks or the mean or whatever it is of standard deviation, another thing you can also see, so let me turn this back to sum of total. Another thing you can also see is the percentage of grand total. If you come to, for the first one is a summary of all the values. That is the sum, the count, the average, and the likes. There is also the show value. For the show value, you have something like percentage of grand total, percentage of column total, percentage of row total. For this is what percentage of grand total means, the total percent of this in the grand scheme of things, which is this grand total. This 4,000 whatever, it's percentage in the grand scheme of things. For percentage in row total, for example, now percentage of column total, it is going to be this percent based on this total, this column total. Percentage of row total will be this total based on this row total. So a whole lot of time, what you make use of will most likely be percentage of grand total. So if you press OK, so this is what the percentage of grand total, this is what it looks like. So for example, sales in Midwest is just 1.37% of the grand total. Sales in, so every of the men apparel sales is just 13% of the grand total. So yeah, we can also see total percent based on the column and total percent based on the row. For example, now we can see easily that West has the highest sales according to what we have here. It's the West that has the highest sales in the grand total, in the grand scheme of things. We can see here that it's men street footwear that has the highest total in the grand scheme of things. Yep. So did we understand all of this? This pivot table, did we understand this? Is there anyone that is still struggling to understand data for grand total. I mean greater for pivot table. Anyone? Please let us talk. Oh, is there anyone struggling to understand pivot table before I move on? Okay. So I'm going to assume that we all understand up to this level.
Hello.
Okay, someone is listening. Okay, yeah, you can unmute your mic,
Sorry.
sir.
Good evening,
Yeah,
everyone.
good evening. You are not audible enough. You are not audible enough.
Okay. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yes, yes, yes. Better.
Okay. I sent something. I think I don't know whether my network that's lagging or maybe from your end. I sincerely don't know which one. But I sent something on the chat that did you just have pivot table today?
No, I think I talked about it in the last class on Sunday. I think that's on no, I mean Monday. We could not have our class on Sunday, so we shifted it to we shifted it. We could not have our class on Sunday. We shifted it to Monday, but I think I talked about pivot table. I really did not get myself that particular day, but if I can remember, I think I talked about pivot table on Monday very well. So yeah, so you
Yes,
can
I
watch.
actually joined the last class. I didn't join because
Okay.
I left work very late and I got home very late. So
Oh, okay.
even Tuesday, so I couldn't join on Tuesday
Oh, okay.
because of the
If you
same reason.
check
So,
if if you check the YouTube video, I think if you check the YouTube video, you should see the brief introduction on pivot table. I'm just going to run through it again. I'll just try to run through it again. Or okay, check after this class. After this class, check the YouTube video for this particular class. I think I did a quick review of it in like starting from this class. So by the time this class ends, you can always go back to it on YouTube and rewatch it.
okay, sir. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for dragging us back because
No problem.
my hands have been very tight lately as well. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I
sir.
also joined late today because of work, so I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. So after pivot table, the core reason why, so sometimes your data can, this now you have like a quick summary of what your data looks like. But this might not really be, with this, you still don't have like the total view of what you want. That is the total result of what you want your data to look like. Or it might still be very, very hard for your, what's it called now? It might still be very, very hard for, say, your manager to have like a proper summary of what this data is saying. So if you want to be able to like easily showcase this data much more better, one of the ways to do it is by having a chart. And what I mean by having a chart is that pivot table is able to show the summary, all well and good, but by creating a chart, it makes your data much more easier to look out. Like you can easily see the information and details of your data. And I think in that class, I talked about bar charts. I talked about the different types of charts that we have. We have bar charts, we have pie charts, and then we have line charts. I think I talk about tree map too. Yes, I think I can remember. I talk about tree map and a whole lot of others. But in based on the outline for this class, we would majorly be treating this I think we'll not go beyond the scope of these three charts. And I mentioned that for line chart is majorly used when you have time series. By time series, I mean that when you want to show this the details per time, that is per a particular number of time or per year or something, you use your line chart. Then I also explained that for pie chart, it is always advisable to not fit more than say 5 or 6 details in your pie chart. And then for bar charts, we have two types of bar charts. We have the column charts, and then we have the horizontal bar charts. So we are going to be seeing how all of those works here and how to edit them in our Excel sheet. So since we already have our what's it called now, our pivot table, we can easily create a chart from here. We just go to insert, and sometimes you can just always select this recommend chart. With this recommend chart, it recommends the type of charts that you might want, or the type of charts you want for your table. It recommends the type of chart you want for your table. And let me see. Yep. So this is the first one, the column bar chart, the column chart. So let me just make this only region only. Sorry. Yeah, so insert recommend charts, and then you press OK. So we have our bar charts. This is what a column bar chart looks like. It arranges your charts in it arranges your charts in columns like we have it here. Sorry, just give me a few minutes to take water. Yeah, so like I was explaining, it's arranged your charts in columns. That is the way we have it here. We have all of our data, all of our charts in columns this way. And with this, we can easily see, okay, we can easily see that the West has the highest sales, followed by the Northeast, followed by Southeast, and then we can see that the Midwest has like the lowest sales among them. I mean, just looking at this chart, you can easily see what the number is without even looking at this number. And it's easily interpretable for whoever it is that you are showing this chart. We are still going to go to the edit side, but so this is how a bar chart, this is what a bar chart looks like. For so this is what a column bar chart looks like. So I want to create another chart. So because I don't want to keep recreating another pivot table. Sorry, give me a few minutes. Okay. Uh, so because I don't want to recreate another chart, I'm just going to copy this. Another pivot table. I'm just going to copy this and move a little bit down and then paste it. This will create another pivot table for me. So I want to change this from region. I want to use let me see. I want to use products. Yes, I want to use products. I also want to show us why I want to show us the difference in bar charts and horizontal bar charts. So if I insert recommend, okay, this still works. For this, the details still works. Let me just press OK. The details of this one still works, but the problem here is that the problem for this is that the wordings are not really unlike this, the wordings are well spaced out. What I really wanted to show is that yes, so for some charts, when you create the charts in bar charts, it is going to look like this. It is going to be slanted like this, which in judging what the data looks like or the label of the data makes it very hard to read this data. So instead of using instead of using a column chart for informations like this, the best or advisable chart to use is a an horizontal bar chart. So with an horizontal bar chart, it makes it much more easier to read. Like you can see now, you can see all of the informations easily without straining when it was slanted. So this is what an horizontal bar chart, this is what it looks like. For our pie charts, I'm just going to copy this. And for our pie chart, so instead of having um instead of having sum, so for pie charts, maybe I want to see the percentage of each. So I'm just going to change this to percentage of grand total. And then, yep, I have something like this. I think percentage would show much more better for regions. So let me move this. Let me use region. Okay. So I think, yes, this shows the percentage very well. So I want to create a pie chart. I'm just going to come to this recommended and come to pie charts. I'm come to pie charts. I'm looking for, okay, yeah. So there are two types of pie chart that people use. The normal pie chart that looks like this and the donut pie charts. But I think advisably, I mean, it's always advisable to use this donut pie chart actually. And I will tell us the reason in the course of the class. So this is what our pie charts, this is what it looks like. We are still going to edit all of these things to make it look much more better. So this is what our pie charts, this is what it looks like. And we can easily see the information. By the time we do the edits, we'll be able to see all of this information much more better. This is what our pie chart looks like. It is a representation of pies. It represents the details in pie format. Yeah, so this is our pie chart. Then lastly, just for the course of this class, the last one is it's a line chart. So let me change this to some values, show value, no calculation, and press OK. Okay. So for our line charts, like I said, line charts majorly works for dates. So let me see invoice dates. So I want to add an invoice date. We only have 2 months here. Okay, we have quarter. So we have quarter, we have 2020 and then 2021 for each quarter, each month in each quarter and all. So we have our dates. So we are going to go to insert and then recommended line charts. This is just showing for two. Let me see if I can increase it from here. Okay. So because I want to show for all the months, I'm just going to remove quarter. I'm going to remove months. Yep. So I'm going to just leave it at invoice date so that I'll be able to capture the data for each of the months. To remove, you just remove the details that is not necessary. You just remove it from here. So yeah, so that I can have something like this for my line charts. Yeah, so this is the line charts. I know that the dates are not showing very well. The way the dates are showing um, is not showing very well, but I think by the time we probably edit this, we'll be able to have something much more coherent. So this is what our line charts, this is what it looks like. Oh, someone has a question. I don't know you were raising your hand. Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Firstly, I just want to say that I think first and foremost, the network at times it makes the screen lag. So maybe you must have done something before I now catch up because of network from my own end. So
Oh,
if you can try and like probably mention where you're actually clicking at, because the way the mouse is going is quite fast. So,
oh,
but if the voice is not lagging, it's just the screen. So if you are like
oh,
saying, okay, I'm going to click on insert, and then I'm actually clicking on the row, it helps you to follow up with the voice, even if the picture is still going to come later.
okay, okay.
Then secondly, I was going to ask that this chart that we are creating, is it
Yes.
possible to edit that? Like maybe if you don't want that, maybe pie chart, you want to change it. Do you have to? Because when I was practicing, I could not edit, so I had to delete it and then bring
And
another chart in.
another
So is it
one.
possible to edit that? And maybe if you don't want this bar chart, maybe you want to change it to bar chart on this work spreadsheet. Is it possible to do that? So that's it.
That you change
From
the actual chart you are using, right?
yes, instead of deleting it and then going back again to select, is it possible? Because I tried pressing this plus sign. I tried pressing this one that looks like
Plus,
paint
this is for
to see.
editing. This is for
Oh,
editing.
okay. So I didn't know what to do. So I just wanted to know if because when I couldn't do it, I had to just click on the chart itself, delete it, and then go back again and go and look
Okay.
for another.
So to
So
change the type of charts, so let's say for example, I've selected this chart now. I'm hoping you can see my screen and it's not lagging. So I've selected the what's it called now? I've selected the column chart. So after selecting the column chart, I want to change the type of chart. You are going to see design at the top. You will see design at the top. So for this design, there are two things. You can switch from row to column. This is me switching from row to column. Then you can select data. Maybe you want to change your data. We are not using this anyways. You can, this is another thing. You can change chart type. So selecting this change chart type can allow you to change the type of charts. For example, this one is column and I want to change it to bar. So I've changed the chart type. You can see that it has changed the type of charts that I have here just by selecting change chart type. So did you get it? Yeah, Missy.
yes, I did. Thank
Okay,
you.
very good. Is there anyone other person with question before I move? Question. Okay, I can see nobody is raising their hands. So we are just going to go to editing our charts. We are going to go to editing our charts. So now we have these charts. I'm just going to leave the before so that we can see before and after. So I'm going to copy this chart and paste it. So now we have this chart and we want to edit it. So the first thing to make our chart look very good is to remove certain things that we think would not make our chart look as good as possible and make it better. So first thing we want to remove this line, because what this line does is it makes it easier for us to trace which part of the number it is. But based on what we want to introduce, we would not need this anymore. So I'm going to delete this line. I'm going to delete this number too because it's going to be useless. I'm going to delete this total. This total is called a legend, and the reason for this is so that we can know based on the color what our information here is. There will be a place where this is needed, but in this case, because it's just a singular data we are checking, we don't need it. So we are going to delete this. Now that we've deleted this, another thing we want to delete are these buttons. These two, they call them buttons. They are more like a filter button, but we don't need it. So we are just going to right click and then you see hide all feed buttons on charts. Hide all feed button on chart and then you press OK. Now we've deleted that. This is a chart title. So we want to give our chart a title. So this is useful. We don't need to delete it, but we are going to leave it for now. When you want to move your charts, make sure you are moving from this top. Make sure you are not moving from this because it's going to show like this. And if you move from the plot area, it can distort your charts. So always make sure you are moving from this top. So the next thing we want to do is probably we find out that there are a whole lot, there is a lot of gap in between our charts. So maybe we want to close that gap a little bit. So to close that gap, select your bars, like just one of the bar, and then right click. When you right click, you see format data series. When you click format data series, sometimes it can be at this point, it can be on this few points, but what you want to select is this series option. Series option. When you select this series option, you would see an option to reduce the gap width. So with reducing the gap width, we are going to have something like this. We don't want it to be close up like this, no. We just want um, at least enough space in between to make it look much more better, a little bit better. So we have something like this. Maybe our lettering here, we want to increase it a bit. So with these words, we select it and then probably increase the words a bit. Maybe we want to make it bold. I want to make it a little bit bold. I'm not sure I need that, but I think I want to increase it, which is, I think 10.5 is okay here. So the next thing you want to do is, in this case, we have a very, very good color. This color is okay. But in some cases, maybe you might want to change your color to match maybe the theme of whatever you are presenting. For example, the sheet I sent to us will talk about how to make sure that our color scheme is uniform when we are designing. So maybe what you are designing for, they have maybe like a particular color logo or theme logo, and you just want to follow it through when you are designing your chart. So I'm just going to select this mild color. I'm not sure I talked about this, but when you are creating your charts, make sure you try not to use um, very, very light color. For example, red or yellow, these colors, as it is, they are shouting more like because they are too bright or unnecessarily too bright. So except you are working with something that has where the color scheme is in line with, say, a red or a green, it is always advisable not to use those colors. It's always advisable not to use those colors that would in my term that will make noise. So I'll just select this mild color. I think this is good and okay. Then the next thing you want to do is probably to put a data label, and this is what a data label looks like. So if you select this, this is what our data label looks like. There are different ways to put your data label. There's the option of putting your data label at the top, at this top. So when you select data label, you can come here, you can come at this format data series to change your data label. And where you can do that is when you select this series down, you would see a series total data label. So when you select it, you are going to see the different option for your data label. You are going to see the different option for your data label. Let me see. Yeah, you see different option, but the option you want to deal with is the text option. Let's see, text outline. Okay, no, not this. Okay, let's leave this, not this. But when you select your data option, it's going to show you, yeah, this is where you get the extra option. I'm sorry. So when you click, this is without the data label. The moment you click data label, you can select this to select where you want your data label to be. There are different options. There's the outside end, there is the inside end. By inside end, it will be at the top of your bar, at the top of each of these bar. Then inside base, which is at the bottom of each of your bar. Then outside end, which is somewhat preferable for your column charts. Then there is the data callout. It is not advisable to use this data callout at all. This outside end, it's Let me remove this data column. Yeah. So your outside end, it's the most preferable. So now I have this already, and I want to edit this text. So I want the whatever editing you do here would also affect what we have in this text. So I want to reduce this. I want to reduce the decimal point. So I have this now, and I want to probably make this bold and probably increase the number. So now this is total sales per region. So I want to now change my chart title to total sales per region. Maybe I want to make this a little bit bold. I select bold. So with this, we can see the big difference in how this chart looks and how this chart looks. We can see that this is much more presentable than this by editing our charts. Because we've edited our charts, anybody will give this chart. We don't even need to tell the person what this is. The person can easily decipher what this chart is. They can easily know that, okay, this is the total sales per each region. And they can easily tell that, oh, the highest sales was from the West and the lowest sales was from the Midwest. And they can easily even see what the numbers are for each of them. So let's say, for example, you want to arrange your own from top to bottom. What I mean by top to bottom is, so you click this chart, you click the chart and then right click and then you see sort. Then you can do smallest to largest. Smallest to largest will make it be like this, or sort largest to smallest, and then you have something like this, depending on how you want your chart to look like. But I think I prefer it looking like this. So this is how to edit for a column chart, and this makes it much more visually appealing. Do we have any question here before I move on? Any question? Any question? Did you understand this? Did you understand this? I want our comments. Did you get this editing? Comments, please. Comments, please. If you cannot talk, you can just put it in chat box, but I just want to know we are following. Okay, just one person. I need at least we are like 9 in this class. I need at least 4 people. I need at least 4 response, please. 4 response, 4 response. Before I move on. Okay, two more response. I want to make sure that we are also participating. 2 more response. I'm waiting for us. 2 more response, 2 more response. Please, let's type the response. I want it typed. I just want to be sure we understand what is happening. If you don't understand, there is no shame in that. Just let me know too if you don't understand, so that I can. The core reason for this class is to understand whatever we are doing. Okay, one more. Okay, so we have 4 response. So I think I'm now going to go to the next one, which is the horizontal bar chart. It has similar editing as our column charts. it has similar edits as our column charts. I just want to duplicate this so that we can see the difference. So the first thing I said, we'll delete this, we'll delete the total because we don't need it. We'll delete this line. Then the button, click one of the button and then select hide all. It is not remove field because if you remove field, it is going to remove all of it. So what you want to do is to hide it. So you are going to select the button and then hide all field buttons, and then you have it hidden. So yeah. So the next thing you want to do is probably increase this, maybe make it bold or increase the size so that it's much more visible. If you want to increase the size of your chart, you select from this bottom and then come to the edge, the last edge, and increase your chart area. So this will increase how big or small the chart is. We can also increase the upper and side, but it's always advisable to increase from this so that it will stretch it in equal proportion as it should be. So so that it will stretch or reduce in equal proportion as it should be. So the next thing is I want to reduce the space gap in between. So I'm just going to select one of it and then format data points, and then you'll see thread gap. I'm just going to reduce this a little bit. Yes, so I've reduced this. The next thing is I want to change this color. So let me change this to let me change it to this color now, for example. So then the next thing I want to do is probably add a data label. So select data label, and then you have your data label outside. But in this case, I don't want the data label to be outside. I don't want you can put the data label outside, which is very, very good and okay. But for this example, I want to show if we want to put our data label inside. So I'm going to put it inside end. But the problem with putting it inside is that the color, there can be a contrast of color. That is, the color I'm using as, which is the background color, might be overlapping on the actual color I'm using. So it means I have to use a color that would show on that background color. So I would want to use a white here to make it much more visible. So I have a white here. So I want to make this bold so that it is much more visible. So as we can see all of these details very well and clear. There is a problem. One of the big problems for using inside end is that one of the charts might be a little bit smaller. Say, for example, if this chart is very, very small, for this particular one now, let's say it is very small that it is staying at this thing. If you use this, it is going to be overlapping, and the white color will be showing both inside and outside, which will not make the color very, very visible. So it is always advisable for charts like that to put it outside, like we have it here. But if it's something that will contain everything, you can put it this way. And this way, our chart is it is visually appealing. So we want to change this to total sales per region. Let me just copy this, Control C, and then paste it here. Total region, total sales per region, and we can see that this looks much more better than what we have here. We can see all of the details. Also, if you want to make it from top to bottom, just sort smallest to largest, and then you have something like this to see from the highest to the lowest easily. Are we good here? Are we good here? Are we good here?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so now the next one is the pie chart. So for pie chart, I'm just going to copy this. For those that might be wondering, what I'm using to duplicate is Control D. So when you press Control D, it duplicates whatever you have there. So yeah. So for our pie chart, we want to delete. So these color schemes, this legend shows what each of these color schemes represents, but we most likely don't need it because of certain things we want to include in this chart. So first thing, you might want to delete this. You might want to delete the legend that we have here. The next thing you want to delete is also this button, hide all fields. Now we have something like this. So for our donut chart, you might want to reduce the space in between because that space does not make it very, very good. So you are going to press the same thing, data format series, and then you are going to see series option. You see series total, then you come to this chart option. This chart option is where you are able to reduce or increase the row, the hole in your donut chart. So it is not advisable to make it small. You just want to make it a little bit around this size, maybe around 40% to make it look good. So this is already good enough. So I want to increase this a bit. The next thing I want to do is to change the colors I have here. So this color permutation, I mean, this color combination does not really look befitting or good. One thing I want to do is I want to make the color much more appealing and much more better. So it is always advisable to use shades of a particular color. That is, if you are using a particular color, what you want to use around your pie chart is to use shades of that color. So it's to use shades of that color. So what I mean is that, so let's say, so we are going to come to this way, this place. Let's say this is the color we want to use. Make sure the color you are going to use will be the shades, different shades, that is all of this color. What I mean by that is, okay, so if I select this for this, that is why it's always advisable to make sure your pie chart is not more than 5, or in most cases, maybe 6, to make it look much more visually appealing. Anything more than 6, then represent your data as a column bar or an horizontal bar. So I'm going to select this as the first one. Then the second one, I want to select this as the second one. Okay, let me select this as the second one. So I'm going to select the second color so that it differentiates this from this. For the next one, I want to select the next color, so the next color, which is this. For the next one, I'm going to select the next lighter color, which is this. And for the last one,
Sweet me. What's going on here?
please
What's
can we
going
mute
on
our
here?
mic?
What's going on here? What's going on here?
So for the last one, someone asking a question. Chats. You're not seeing my screen. He's not the only person not seeing my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay, good. So for the last one, you want to select the last light color. So with this, you are able to see the different colors, like differentiate one from the other. You're able to differentiate this from this, from this, from this, from this. So the next thing you want to do is to add a data label. So you come here and then you add data label. Normally, the data label would be inside your chart. A whole lot of time, your data label will most likely be inside your chart. You can decide to leave it inside your chart, but sometimes it is not advisable to leave it inside your chart because, one, you might not be able to see this very, very well. So the best way to put this data and make it much more appealing is after you've selected your data, whatever, select format data label. So when you select format data label, it's going to show something like this. It's going to show your label, options. It's going to show you label option. So you want to add a category name to your label. So when you select category name, you would see Midwest, comma, percent. You see each of these. You see each of these. The next thing is you want to change the separator. You want to change it from comma to new line, such that it represents it this way, that it's Midwest 15%, Northeast, like that, like that. So you are done with this one. The next thing you want to do now is to pull out each of these outside. So I'm going to select this and then pull it out. So by pulling it out, you see that it's going to create a call out for this particular one, for this Northeast, pull it out. For this South, pull it out. For this one, pull it out. For this one, pull it out. So you can see each of this column and you can easily see what they are representing. So that is why I removed this ledger, because you can easily see that, okay, this one is Northwest, this one is Southeast, and this is the percent, this one is Midwest, and this is the percent, this one is Northeast, and this is the percent. So with this, you can put the revenue percent, revenue, I mean, total sales, okay, region, total sales, total sales per region percent. So with this, you can easily see the representation of this data. So you might want to ask, say if you have like 6 or 7, how do you go about this? There is a tool online that you can easily use to generate the shades of color. Let me try to see if I can get it now. There are different tools you can easily use to generate shades of color. So one of it is I'm just going to share my screen now. Let's share my whole screen. So one of it is this tint and shade. You can always use it to generate shades of colors. So when you are selecting a colors, they always have X code. They call them X code. So to get the X code of this color, you go under more colors now. You will see, if you select custom, you see the X code of that particular color. So let me select, say I'm selecting blue now. Let me see if I can select let's say I'm selecting this blue. I want to select the actual. I want to be able to get the actual color for this. Okay, so this is the color code for this. So if I copy this, you see the X code. So copy this X code. So when you copy this X code, you are going to paste it in these things and then make shades. So this is going to create different shades. You can see the different shades of this particular color. So at each point, for each of these colors, for each of these schemes, for my next one, I'm going to select, so I'm just going to cancel this. For my next color, I'm just going to select this. And when I select this particular one, I'm going to come here, more color, and then I'm going to change this shade to the shade that I've generated here. That is the next one, which is this. I'm just going to copy this and then change it to, so I'm just going to change this to the next one and press OK. And it's going to change to that color. So I'm going to select the next one too. I'm going to come here, copy the next shade or the next lighter shade as much as I want it. So I'm going to copy the next lighter shade and then come here. So come here, come to this place, more colors, and change the X of this color and then press OK. Okay, then the next one, my next color, I'm going to come here, copy the next lighter color, and then come here and more colors, and then change the X of this color, and then press OK. More lighter color. Then the last one, I'm going to do the same thing here and maybe copy the lightest, and come here and select this more color, and then press OK. We can see that this now makes it much more appealing because we are using similar color. So it's just the shades of that color that is changing across board. If it is red too, if what you want to use is red, you copy the colors, the color scheme of that red, and then you use the shade of that color across board to make it look much more appealing and much more better. Are we clear here?
Yes.
I've only gotten I've only gotten one response rather.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one now, which is the last one, is now the line charts. The line charts, the date filter. I'm trying to see the best way to represent this. I want to see if I can make each of these analysis list. I want to see. Let me remove these dates and put it back. Um, but okay, this is once. I want to trying to see. Okay, yeah. Let me just plus. Yeah. Okay. I think this looks much more better by just increasing the year and the date. Okay. So this looks much more better. So for this one, you just have to press just press the plus for this one to see like the plus of this one. Yeah. So for this, we have 2020, January, February, March, and we also have this one. So yeah, okay. So the first thing that I want to do here is probably remove this dash. I want to remove the dash that I have here. Yeah. So the next thing is I want to remove all of this. I want to hide all of these buttons. Yep. So we have that. For this one, you might most likely not want to remove all of this by the side because it is not advisable to put a data label on your charts. If you put a data label, it's going to look something like this, which does not look very, very good. It does not make any sense at all to put a data label at all in this. In I think in Tableau allows you to put, but we are not using Tableau here. Tableau allows you to put a specific data, maybe highest and lowest data types here, but we cannot do the same here. Let me see, general. Yeah, we cannot do the same here. So it's not advisable to put a data, it's not advisable to put a data label here. So we don't need a data label. I don't want to use the legend. So it's looks like this. I don't need a thread line. I don't need this. Yeah. So I think for this is already okay. Maybe the next thing I want to do is you might want to increase or reduce the size of this line. Let me see, chart area. Yes, you might want to reduce the width or the length of this line. Okay. Um, chart area, plot area. Okay. Series total. Okay. Yeah. You might want to increase or reduce the size. This is for the line. Maybe you want to reduce or increase the width. You come to this line, you can see increase or reduce width as you want it, or as you want the line to look like. Then for the markers, I think the dots are the markers. You might want to increase or reduce the size of the markers, which is the dots, and probably change the color as you want. Uh, yes, so you can use that to edit this, but I think this line chart is okay, and maybe I want to use I also want to use this line. Yeah, so maybe you want to increase the size of this a bit and make it bold so that I have my data like this. So I can easily see. So you can write uh, total sales per time or something, per month or per year or something. So with this, you can easily see all of the information of, okay, this total sales, okay, I think around July, thereabouts, around July, we had our peak sale, and December was when we had the lowest sale. So this is what a line chart looks like. So this is how to edit your charts and make it look much more visually appealing and a little bit much more better. So are we good here? Are we good here? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Am I seeing any hands raised up? I'm lost, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So sorry about that. It's not even online again. So I think probably when it checks the video again. So for those that probably don't understand, if you check the video again on YouTube, you should be able to get everything I explained. I think it's much more simple and easy, actually. It's easy and simple as the case may be. So I want us to practice and work with. I think I've sent the Adidas data on the group. I think I sent it that day. Let me check. I want to be sure. Yes, I sent the Adidas data sets on the group. So I think probably Adenike can also help us put that sheet maybe on a drive and a link to it on our YouTube so that people would be able to easily download and use it too. So you can use that data sets or whichever data sets you have to replicate every of the things that I've explained in this class. So in our next class or next week, which is going to be our final class is by Sunday, and I'm not sure if it's Tuesday or Thursday that we'll have our final class on Excel. I will want us, or probably from that Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we'll try to create a dashboard, something that looks like a dashboard. What a dashboard does is that it makes whatever we are doing, it makes all of these charts, it makes it much more easier to look at. I think I've shared what a dashboard, one of the dashboards, what it looks like. I'm going to show us now. I'm coming. Um, so yeah, for example, for that particular sheet, this is one of the dashboard I created using that particular data. So I'm hoping, although it can be a lot of work a bit, but I'm hoping we'll be able to do something close to this. I'll be able to do something close to this that would easily outline all of our data. And these are filters whereby if you click Midwest, all of the data you see here would be for Midwest only. If you click for 2021, it will be for Midwest in 2021 only. All of the data you'll be seeing here. So I'm hoping we'll be able to have enough time throughout all of next week to recreate that this dashboard so that we can see how to create a dashboard using Excel. So thank you everyone for joining today's class. If you have any question, you can probably bring it to the next class, or you can message me after you have watched the YouTube, of course, then we can discuss. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining this evening's class. Have a wonderful night rest.
Thank you.
I don't know how it happened, or okay.